Hi, my name is Veronica Pimenova, and today I'm going to be presenting my project called Adventures in Cybersecurity. Also, the title might be a little bit different from what's on the project proposal or the page that you have, but that's because when I submitted the proposal, I didn't save it, but the project is still the same, regardless of the title. So for a little introduction, this is a research-based project that will analyze cybersecurity-related topics and activities at Seneca Valley School District. There will also be an analysis of a website made for the Seneca Valley First Robotics team. So for some background, my name is Veronica Pimenova, and I am a current junior at Seneca Valley, and I have taken all of the computer science from Seneca Valley, and I'm currently taking the last one, which is AP Computer Science A, and there's about a month of it left. And the only one that I haven't taken is Python, which is an elective, and I think it's even an introduction to Python. So, however, Seneca Valley does not offer any cybersecurity classes, which makes it really difficult for students who want to study this field because you can't learn it at school and you can't take any classes in it. So, SWEET is Seneca Valley's Women Engineering Exploration Team, and it's a club that's free and it promotes STEM and engineering related fields for girls. And I'm pretty sure anyone can join, but it's mostly a women in engineering team. And so I have been in this club since freshman year, and I actually joined freshman year because one of my friends who was a senior at the time recommended it to me. And so when I was a freshman, there were only seniors in the club, and I was the only ninth grader there. And so then when I went into sophomore year, which is 10th grade, there was no one else left, so I had to try to get some more people to join. And I think there is a woman in engineering class offered at Seneca Valley, but I haven't taken it yet just because I didn't have enough space in my schedule, and so I'm going to be taking it next year, but I have been in the club since ninth grade, and since I was the only person left when I went into sophomore year, I ended up being the president of the club, and I have been the president since then. So, Cyber Patriot. Before we start discussing the slide, I just wanted to mention that in 10th grade, when I was the president of SWEET, since the year was cut short, we didn't really do a lot, but we did have a couple of meetings where we used the new laser cutter that's available in the school, and we made a couple of laser cutted wooden figures. And we also just like discussed different engineering possibilities for us in the future. And so come 11th grade, which is junior year, which is this school year actually right now, I decided to bring Cyber Patriot into women engineering, and I created a Cyber Patriot team. But what is Cyber Patriot? Cyber Patriot is a cybersecurity competition, and I was first introduced to it a couple years ago when I did a science competition at RMU, Robert Morris University, and I've been doing that competition for 2 summers now, and I really liked it because we spent a week learning about cybersecurity and about what we're going to find in the competition, and then at the end of it, you actually compete in it. And so as the president of SWEET, like I mentioned earlier, I founded a Cyber Patriot team, and this past fall, so this current school year, we competed in the Cyber Patriot competition. And so a little bit of background about Cyber Patriot. This is an Air Force Association National Youth Cyber Education program where participants compete in securing various computer systems. So what this means is that they'll give you a VR or a virtual machine, which is just an example of a regular computer that you might see anywhere. And then there's some issues with it, so you have to go in and try to make it more secure and you have to fix it. So an example is making sure that all users have passwords, making sure that the computer has a firewall installed on it, making sure that it has antivirus software, stuff like that. And then it does get a lot harder later because you don't know what the computer has wrong with it, and so you kind of have to search through and debug it on your own, and then you have to go through like more advanced stuff that could be wrong with it. And this is especially difficult for us this past school year because we didn't have anyone to help us, and since it was our first year and it was our first time going into it, and I'd only done the previous summer competitions, but I found out that the summer competitions are actually a lot easier than the real competition because when we got into it, we were like, oh, we're so prepared. This is going to be so easy. But then it was a lot harder because they just give you a computer and you just have to find all the stuff wrong with it. And especially if you don't have anyone to help you who's done it before, it can be really difficult. But we ended up managing, and the way they score it is that they'll give you points for all the stuff that you fix. So we got less points than we expected, but we still ended up doing okay. And then moving on to First Robotics. First is basically a robotics competition where teams will build a robot and then they'll send it into competitions where it'll perform different tasks such as picking up, moving around objects, and other things. And then you can also earn points this way. So for example, if your robot picks up an object and then throws it into a hoop, then you get a certain amount of points for that. And so I joined the First Robotics team this school year as well, and I am the outreach coordinator, which basically means that I try to get sponsorships, I try to promote the team and get more people to join. So if you want to pause and go ahead and read this little paragraph that I wrote, but I can summarize it pretty quickly. I wrote letters to small businesses or even other businesses around us in this general area and asked them for a sponsor money. And then I also found us a mentor, Konstantin Pimenov, and we had a meeting with him, and then he helped us kind of fix our robot a little bit more. And we have to have a mentor for a different part of the competition that grades you on your outreach stuff. So I was thankful for that opportunity. And then also getting into what I'm going to be explaining for this project in particular is the website. I made a website for Radar Robotics, and it can be visited at that link, or I can show pictures of it later. So this is an image, a screenshot of our November meeting of November 2020. We had it online, just like a lot of the stuff that we did was online. And then this is the meeting with our mentor where we asked questions and then he gave us advice on how we should do our robot. So using Hostinger, as I mentioned, I made a website for Radar Robotics. And the platform that I use to make it is Hostinger, which basically allows you to purchase domains and web hosting. So this means that you can choose what name you want. So for example, we chose, since we're Radar Robotics, we chose svradarrobotics.com. And then you can choose to buy that and then you can use it for a certain amount of time. And so this is the website that I ended up making, and it can be visited at this link, or you can just Google SV Radar Robotics on Google. And I'm not sure if you can click a link from this PowerPoint directly because it might be a video, but it's just SV Radar Robotics, all lowercase, and then .com. And so, since it was my first time making a website and I didn't really have a lot of help and I didn't really know where to go, it is a little bit, it's, it's not finished, but I think I did okay for the resources that I had available to me. And so, as you can see, this is the first page of the website. I just had a little bit of summary of what Radar Robotics is, and then later I include more pictures. Then over here we have the pictures that I added, and then there's other things such as like the program, the seasons, our number, and then I have other stuff on the website and you can visit it at the link that I shared or just Google svradarrobotics.com, all lowercase. And so this is the works cited that I used, and this is basically just the Cyber Patriot website, the robotics website, the Hostinger website, and the Seneca Valley School District website. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation and looking at this project. Hopefully we can get more cybersecurity classes at Seneca Valley, or we can have more activities that will get into it a little bit more, but thank you so much for your time.